Hello beautiful bibliophiles, it's Nectaria. Today I am doing a video reviewing just one book for the first time. I've never done another video dedicated to just one book, so I'm afraid about how it will come out. I don't think it's gonna come out very professional, but I'm still very excited about it because I really love this book and I just want to convey that love to you out there, so it's gonna be very exciting. It was my most anticipated release of the year. Now I have nothing else to expect for the rest of the year. No, that's not true. There are many great books coming out the rest 6 months of the year, and if you want to find out more about those, I do have a video about my most anticipated releases for the second half of the year coming out soon. So I was expecting that book with so much hype, and it only did me justice. It was great. I had requested it on NetGalley and I got accepted to get an e-arc of it. I got approved for one. I didn't thought I would, but I was so excited when I got the email and I was just jumping around. Great moment, highlight of the year. So yeah, and I read it and it was great. So I do want to talk about that in depth with you. That book is no other than The Ones We're Meant to Find by Joanne He. If you heard of this author before, she's also written The Descendant of the Crane, which also got very popular like 1 or 2 years ago on BookTube and the whole Bookstagram bookish community in general. I have heard mixed reviews about it personally. I've heard some people saying they thought it was a bit slow, some people saying it's amazing. Considering how much I love The Ones We're Meant to Find, I think I'm going to be on the amazing side when I pick this up, which I plan to do soon because I love Joanne He's writing this one so much that I really want to try out her other book. So just one more thing and then we'll get to the actual plot of the book, like what it's about, spoiler free of course, and then my review on it. So before we do that, I do want to look at the cover a bit because it's gorgeous and I love it when there are drawn faces on covers, especially of YA books. I don't like when there's photography, but I think we've left that quite in the past. You know, those girls with the good makeup on the cover. The makeup was good, but let's not do photography of girls in pretty dresses on book covers anymore. You know what I mean? But drawn faces are amazing, and especially this art style. I love. I mean, I don't know what to call it. I don't know exactly how it differs from other art styles I've seen on book covers because I don't know a lot about art, but I know I'm looking at this and I'm feeling great because it's gorgeous. I love those gorgeous faces. First look at those gorgeous faces, and then when your look goes further down to see their torso, their torsos are waves. How gorgeous is that? You may not even notice it if you don't look closely enough the first time, but how gorgeous it is that there's their faces and then there's waves. I don't know if it's just me being very excited about this cover, but it's gorgeous. Now we're gonna get to the actual book. Even though the title and cover may not suggest so, The Ones We're Meant to Find is a sci-fi set in the not so far away future. I'm being pessimistic here, but I don't think it's such a far away future where climate change and natural disasters have gotten even more serious than they already are. We're starting to see their fatal effects for the planet and humanity, and therefore Earth is becoming a not so inhabitable place for people. It's quite an uninhabitable place and not very safe for people to be. So in this universe we have eco-cities. These are cities levitating above the earth, and in order to go to the eco-cities, you either have to have done yourself something good for the environment, or your ancestors have to have done something good for the environment. So with that qualifications, you get ranked, and the people with a higher ranking get to live in the eco-city. Therefore, now it's time to get introduced to your main characters, sisters K out of Casey and C for Celia, who are the daughters of the architect who came up with the idea of the eco-cities, I think, and that is why they get to go there with their father and their mother. In those eco-cities, people are instructed to only eat, sleep, and exercise normally, real time, and every other activity is preferred to happen through a Stasis Pod virtually. You attend events virtually, like you socialize in any way virtually, you have trips virtually, kind of like our situation now with the pandemic, but even worse. And the difference between the two sisters is that Kay herself is a technology prodigy and she is pretty much continuing her father's steps, and she's really into this whole idea of this technological eco-city where everything happens virtually. Therefore, she really doesn't mind this whole Stasis Pod virtual living thing. If anything, she's really in for it. She really wants to contribute to that herself and help the technological progress, help humans survive. However, she, on the other hand, is really not seeing the good in all this. She prefers living real life rather than surviving through this virtual sort of reality for longer. Therefore, she doesn't want to visit the sea through her Stasis Pod. She wants to really go out in the sea, and everyone in her character was like that, but they didn't expect her to just take a boat and disappear in the ocean. And that is where the book starts. We know that she is out in a desert island. She's been there for 3 months according to her sister Kay, who's looking for her, but she herself is not having any memory of her past life. The only thing she can have a memory of is that she has her sister Kay, whom she needs to find. Can't say anything more. This is where the book starts, and if I say something else, I feel like it will be a spoiler, so I'm not gonna say anything else. Plot-wise, now I'm going to be telling you why I think this book is so great and why you need to pick it up. First of all, I loved this idea of world building. I love anything that has to do with the environment as a concept in fiction books, because I have quite the climate anxiety myself, so this book was definitely a struggle to read. And if you have quite the strong climate anxiety, I would suggest you knowing that you might get quite triggered before entering this book. Even though it's amazing, do know that before you get into the book. So I just love this concept of this quite not so far away future where climate change has gotten so big that we can't ignore it anymore, and it starts to have actual practical effects on everyone's lives. I love to see that concept in books. I think it's quite the environmental message as well. It's not just a great world building. It's not just like very creepy to read about. It's also very realistic. I mean, not everything in this book is realistic, obviously, but the concept itself of climate effects being that harsh on humans is very realistic, and I think we need to see that more in fiction, because not everyone can read non-fiction about the environment and the climate change. It's not everyone's cup of tea. Not everyone wants to watch documentaries or news, about the climate change. So I think putting that element more in fiction, and especially sci-fi, would be a great way for people to be more aware of the climate change and to be more interested in such subjects. So I just think that's a great place to start. But apart from that, the world building with the whole eco-cities, the Stasis Pod, having to attend things virtually was very interesting. It was very creepy in showing like how far the effects of this climate crisis could get and how much it could limit our physical contact and like our real life with other people. So I thought that was just very gorgeous. And the greatest thing about this world building is that it doesn't just present itself to you at the start. A lot of fantasy or sci-fi books start with somehow one of the characters having to explain the world building or remembering the world building, where it started, where it's going. And so that way, all of a sudden, you get to know all the world building, but in this book, you gradually learn more things about it, which I think is mind-blowing because you've read enough and you're already creeped out, and then you learn more things about how those eco-cities came to be and how they are ruled, about how far the effects of the environmental crisis went, how many species got extinct. Like, it gives you the percentage at some part of the book, and it's mind-blowing. And it just tells you the effects, like, one by one, gradually, the world building rules one by one, and it's like really great to read it that way. I feel like the world building and the atmosphere of this book and its setting is definitely one of its like main characteristics that it has to win the reader with. And on Goodreads, like if you go and search for this book on Goodreads, it is described as perfect for fans of Black Mirror, but with a dash of Studio Ghibli. And I feel like that's a great way to like sum up the atmosphere of this book, because I would definitely recommend this. Like, if you watched Black Mirror and enjoyed it, like, read this book. Okay, it may not be White Christmas kind of Black Mirror, but it's definitely, it's like San Junipero writing and emotion term, but more disturbing and creepy than San Junipero, because climate crisis, people. Is there anything creepier than climate crisis and how close we are to it? So I would definitely recommend it if you watch Black Mirror and enjoyed it. But it's like the creepiness of Black Mirror plus the beautiful atmosphere of Studio Ghibli, and that is why I think that's a great sentence to sum up the book with, because it definitely has this more beautiful atmosphere to it, especially when we see it from Celia's point of view, because throughout the whole book we have a chapter from Casey's point of view and a chapter from C's point of view, and I think that's a great way. I loved Celia's chapters more because I think I'm closer to her character and I can connect to her character more, and I feel like the writing from her side is more beautiful because she herself would make more lyrical thoughts as a character, so I feel like the author really managed to write from these two POVs in a great way, so you could see how they differ from one another. So what I really enjoyed about the characters, about those two sisters, is that you see how much they care and love each other, but no matter how great their love is, they could not be more different, and I feel like that is the great thing about those two characters. Casey, she loves this technology. She is really into helping that technology progress in order to help humanity survive this climate crisis. However, Celia, she cannot understand all the hype around this technological progress that helps humans survive in this way, because she doesn't really see how this is a great way to survive. She wants to live rather than survive, and I think that's like gorgeous. I just feel like those two sisters represent the two major opinions you'll meet when you talk with other people about nature, how nature is slowly being destructed by humans, and how technology is going to help us survive the environmental crisis. There's Casey, there's people who are like, okay, it's sad that nature is destructed, but we need to do whatever we can with technology, and if we have to limit our lives and leave them in a this very restricted way in order to survive, we gotta do that, and we gotta let technology help us. And sometimes her opinions get immoral, and sometimes you talk with people and their opinions about the way we're gonna survive the climate crisis are quite immoral, and if not immoral, they're very far away from what nature intended humans to live like with Earth. These two sisters perfectly represent what you'll see in the conversations about the climate crisis. Like, they could be real people and they're so well fleshed out and their opinions make so much sense, but like, you're going to relate to one of them. Let's get back to the plot for a minute, because if you got bored, I gotta tell you, the book is not as boring as my review. There are constant twists and turns. I did not see those plot twists coming, and they were amazing. They were mind-blowing. They took the plot to a whole different direction than the direction I thought it would get, but that didn't disappoint me at all. I thought that was great as well. I know a lot of people want the sci-fi to be more about the plot than the writing, but I do want my writing in books, you know what I mean? So this was just amazing. This was my cup of tea, because the writing, especially when we get to Celia's chapters, who again is more of a nature lover, is just amazing, because she describes the landscape she sees on the desert island, and she connects that to her thoughts about the relationship between humanity and nature, and her views on the whole way humans deal with the climate crisis. And it's gorgeous. I would recommend you reading this, but again, if your climate anxiety is harsh at the moment, leave it aside for now. But do know that the world building is immaculate, the plot is great, it evolves in a great way. Plot twists keep coming, it keeps you interesting, it's very enjoyable to read. The characters also hold the story very well. They're so different, they represent different kinds of people when you talk about the kind of topics that this book sparks conversation about, and I thought that was amazing. So yeah, I just want you to read this book and tell me if you liked it, if you've already read it, Please let me know what you thought of this book down in the comments. If you know any books that are like this, please let me know down in the comments, because this book has left quite the hole in my heart that I need to fill, with something similar to it. And if you know of any other fiction books in general that talk about the effects of the climate crisis or just evolve around it in any way, please let me know down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know it was chaotic, but it was my first just sit down and review one book video, so please be nice to me. Thank you so much again. I hope you're having a great day or a great night if you're watching this at night, and I'll see you soon with another video. Bye.